everyone, my name is Aileen from 10B, and today I'm going to be explaining the four main types of business organizations, and that is sole trader, partnership, private limited company, and public limited company. Businesses around the world are set up in many different ways, depending on their resources, goals, and size. And today I'm going to be explaining the key features, advantages, and disadvantages of each type, and along with real-world examples to make it easier to understand. So let's get started. So the first type of business organization is sole trader. Sole trader is a business that is run and owned by just one person. It is the most simplest and common form of business structures, especially for small local businesses. A great example of a sole trader is a chef or freelancer such as writers, graphic designers, or even a plumber. Other common examples is that warung makan or a baso style. All of these people makes the decisions and keeps all the profit by themselves. Sole traders are quick and inexpensive to set up, which makes them attractive to people who want to start small. The advantages are that the owner has full control over all decisions and all profit belongs to them, and there are fewer legal requirements compared to larger companies. However, the biggest disadvantage is that they have unlimited liability. It means that if the business owes money or gets into debt, the owner is personally responsible and might have to sell their personal assets like their car or even their house. Another disadvantage is that it can be hard for a sole trader to raise enough capital to expand, since all the workload and risks are on one person's shoulders. The second type of business organization is partnership. Partnership is when two or more people work together to run a business and share the profits and responsibilities. A great example of a partnership is Asegaf Hamsa and Partners. It is a well-known law firm in Indonesia. Other good examples is like Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream. It started off as a partnership between two people, and that is Ben Cohen and Jerry Cream. Partnership also have several advantages. They allow owners to combine their skills, share ideas, and divide responsibility, which makes managing the business easier compared to a sole trader. It is also much more easier to raise capital compared to a sole trader because one more person contributes to the business. However, there are disadvantages too. Like sole traders, most partnerships also face unlimited liability, which means partners are personally responsible for debts. Another problem is that partners may disagree on decisions, which can cause conflicts. Lastly, profits must be shared among all the partners. The third type of business organization is private limited company, often called LTD. This type of business organization is owned by shareholders, but unlike public companies, their shares are not available to the public. A great example of a private limited company is Dyson Ltd, the famous company that designs and manufactures vacuum cleaners, hand dryers, and other innovative technology. Other examples can be PT Dua Kelinci. It's famous for its peanuts and snacks. Private limited companies have a separate legal identity, which means that the company itself is responsible for the debts, not the owners. This is known as limited liability. This is a very big advantage because the shareholders' personal assets are protected. Other advantages includes the ability to raise more capital by selling the shares to a small group of investors, and the fact that the company can continue to exist even if the owner leaves or sells their shares. However, private limited companies have disadvantages as well. They require more legal paperwork and must follow stricter regulations. Profit must also have to be shared with shareholders, and some financial information must be made available to the public. Finally, we have Public Limited Company, also known as PLC. PLC is a company whose shares are traded on the stock exchange and can be bought by the general public. A famous example is Tesco PLC, one of the largest supermarket chains in the UK. Other examples are PT Bank Sentral Asia, also known as BCA, one of the largest banks in Indonesia. Public limited companies are often very large businesses that can raise massive amount of money by selling shares to investors. The advantages of this structure includes limited liability, the ability to raise huge amount of capitals quickly, and the public trust that comes from being a well-known company. However, there are disadvantages too. It is very expensive and complicated to set up a PLC because it requires strict legal and financial regulations, and also the shares are publicly traded. The company can experience a hostile takeover if someone buys the majority of the shares. In conclusion, the four main types of business organization is sole trader, partnership, private limited company, and public limited company. Sole traders and partnerships are ideal for small businesses, but involves more personal responsibility, while private limited companies and public limited companies are better for larger businesses that involves more funding and offers limited liability. The right choice depends on the size, goals, and resources of the business owner. Thank you for listening.